Howdy folks, welcome to Bulldog Smith Farm and the Danny Link Smith channel. Or Daniel Link Smith channel. Danny Link just rolls off my tongue better. What do y'all think? Just put some votes down there. Let me know what you think. Right now all my stuff just says Daniel Link. Or Daniel Link Smith. Let me know what you think. I saw something this morning and it struck a note and made me say, okay, I'm finally gonna take away a little time from my knife channel and I'm gonna get over here and start this other channel and do some video. So I'm gonna try to do that. I'll have to figure out a different email because I want you guys to be able to talk to me in private, and I'm gonna have to figure out a new email for that because you know how it is. Your email is just like covered up with stuff that you've subscribed to. But I'm gonna see if this will record well enough. Maybe I'll take the camera and turn it around so you can see. I haven't taken the time yet to figure out how to insert video. I'll get around to that, but for now we're just going old school, as in like a couple years ago. You know how stuff changes so fast these days. I wish I had all these tools back when I was doing music. Wow, I mean, the stuff I had to go to Kinko's and literally draw stuff and print it out and draw and print it. Wow. Now you can just tell the computer, hey, I want a picture of this, and it'll make it. I heard this song and it really struck a nerve, and so I wrote some stuff down about it. Now, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to get the camera where I can see, where you can see, and then we're gonna see if that works, and we're gonna go from there. All right. All right. We're going to see how this goes.
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, then they celebrated after they killed him. They tried to tell us that Black Lives Matter and that white people have always been villains. They burning flags in the streets and they scream at police, taking illegals to prison. They got rainbows on their bedroom walls and they swear to God that men can be women. They're scrolling through their TikToks to get the news. They heard that Trump's a fascist. They swear it's true. They set fire to Minnesota. We smell the fumes. They say that guns are dangerous. Guess they're the proof. They'll shoot that red hat off your head. Then make a meme of your last breath. Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said, and say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left, praying for the left. They keep saying that ICE are the Nazis, so they're buying guns and tracking positions. Go tell the parents of the kids who were killed. Illegal immigrants are really the victims. They say America ain't safe if you're black or trans or gay. I think it's way more dangerous to be a Christian. Y'all started acting different back when Anthony Fauci made you keep the ones you love at a distance. They're scrolling through their TikToks, Antifa clips. They say that Trump is Hitler. They're mad they missed. They think that how they feel is how it is, and conservatives are evil. We shouldn't live. They'll shoot that red hat off your head, then make a meme of your last breath. Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said, and say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left. Scratching swastikas and Teslas ain't gonna change a thing. You can burn our cities down, but we'll just make them great again. Oh, they hate us cause they say that we are full of hate. They wanna kill all the police trying to keep them safe. They'll shoot that badge of yours right off your chest. They want a civil war. Pray for the left. They'll shoot that red hat off your head. Then make a meme of your last breath. Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said. They say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left. Praying for the left.
All right. Let me get this turned back around and we'll talk a little. All right. What'd you think about that? I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm just moving my little... I keep this little challenge coin on my desk. A Marine Corps emblem from a good friend of mine that makes knives that I showed you decal. I keep that right behind me. It reminds me of the Marines. Now, so what did you think of that? If you just stumbled into this and you're on the left, welcome. You won't be yelled at over here by me. If you're on the right, did you hear a lot of truth in that, or do you disagree with things? If you're a Christian, what do you think about that? If you're not a Christian, what do you think about that? One thing that I want to do over here is try to have conversations that are horribly missing in our world and our country. Neck's always sore. When Facebook first came around, I had such hope, and it was such an amazing tool to be able to connect with old friends, family that you'd gotten away from, hadn't talked to in years. People moved, you moved, life, family, those people that you went to high school with that you thought you would be your best friends forever, down to your best friend. You just, maybe you don't hate each other, or you don't have any problem with each other, or whatever. You just, you get busy with life and you move and things. I just thought, man, this is going to be amazing. We'll be able to talk to people, do video calls with people like Star Trek, This is going to be great. And it so can be that. And it also can just be horrible. People fighting, screaming, and they're all saying the same things to each other. And I don't care if you're on the left or you're on the right. This one's saying the same things every day because that's what they heard on their news source. And these over here are saying the same things every day, and they're just repeating those same arguments to each other every day. Um, and it never gets anywhere. Nobody changes anybody's mind. Nobody changes anybody's heart. Nobody just accepts that, hey, we just disagree. It's okay. Um, God, it doesn't seem like that long ago that maybe we really didn't even know each other's political views. We didn't hide it or anything. We had all these things going on. We loved each other, and now I've lost so many people over they just disagree with the things I say. Well, I disagree with the things they say, but so, I mean, I worry about people's soul. I worry that people don't know Jesus, that there's so much there for them that they don't know exist, and they don't want to hear it. That worries me. That I I hate that. But I don't hate any of those people. And we disagree. I have friends that we disagree, horribly disagree. But so? You just love each other, and you do things together, and you talk about things that you love and you agree on. And I would love it if we could have honest debates, conversations where I'm asking you questions instead of telling you what I heard on Fox News or what I heard on, talk radio, and you're telling me, yelling back at me what they said on CNN or MSNBC or whatever. I mean, where we literally just sit down and we talk, and I say, tell me why you think that. Tell me how you came to that conclusion. Because if we're going to really have a conversation about these things, and I think we should be able to. I think it was a mistake saying don't talk about politics or religion, because those are the two most important things that affect our lives. And we should be able to, maybe that's a problem. We didn't talk about it. So we didn't learn how to communicate our differences and our agreements. And an older fella told me one time, he said, listen to people you disagree with, because this time they might have a point. And I think that is an amazing way to think. I think I'm right, but I could be wrong. I think they're wrong, but they might have a point. Listen for the point. Don't listen with the you're not really hearing what they're saying. You're finding things that they say that you can use to attack them. And I'm really good at that. Hey, you get me on Facebook and I'm standing on something that I have done the research and I know it's true, and I know you're just flat out wrong because the facts just do not back that up. And you back me in the corner where I've got to debate it, and I can destroy you. Just with facts. And I'm not just talking people on the left. I'm talking about people that supposedly agree with me on things. But the principles, they're not agreeing with me. Agreeing about topics, not principles. And I'll get into some of those things as we go along and get to know each other. Today, right now, I wanted to just read you. When I heard that, I just sat down and wrote this. And I posted it on Facebook if you want to go read it. My name's Daniel Smith on Facebook. think I'm going to go and try to figure out a way to change that to Daniel Link Smith, just so things will be easy. And Link is not a common name. I'll tell you the story about that one day. And so there's a billion Daniel Smiths. I don't think there's that many Daniel Link Smiths out there. We'll find out. So this is just thing. Don't fall on me. Get up there. I've got to get some equipment and holders and such. Okay, so this is just what I'm just going to read it, because if I stop every time I'm going to run down a million rabbit trails. I love running rabbits. Love your enemies and pray for them. They need Jesus in their lives. Scripture says that when you're kind to those, Scripture says, when you're kind to those who hate you, it will heap piles of burning coal on their heads. In other words, it will burn them up. Now, our intention, and I wrote is not, it sure should not be, to make them even more angry. I've done that. Have you done that? Our intention should always be to share truth and love. You can share the truth in a loving way. There are points where you just got to go to war in the world, right? I mean, there's points where evil's just evil. You just got to put it down. In war, I'm talking about war. There should be a lot of talking before that happens, because none of us want to know what real war is like. See, rabbit. Unfortunately, truth is divisive. That's what Jesus meant when he said that he did not come to bring peace, but the sword. That's what he meant when he said, if you love me, you will have to leave your family. He didn't mean, if you love me, pack it up, leave that wife and kids behind. That ain't what he meant. He meant that loving him, who is truth, would divide you from your friends and family. If they're not seeking that truth, the only truth there is, and if they're not seeking it and they're fighting you on it, it's just you following that truth is going to cause division. Because instead of seeing love, instead of seeing the truth, they'll hate you for it. Jesus told us that. Let me just read and quit. He said, if you love, follow, and proclaim me, they'll hate you, just like they did me. And they persecuted, mocked, tortured, and murdered him. So get comfortable with losing people's affection. Get used to losing friends and family. Get used to being blamed for the division that they foster. Get used to being mocked, persecuted, prosecuted, jailed, and murdered for your faith. Those days are here. They're speedily on the way. Look around the world and you'll find that the most persecuted group on earth is Christianity, Christians. Not backing up, not backing down, not backing away from truth. That's just been me my whole life. Bulldog, stubborn, can't push me off that rock. Be kind, but tell the truth. All you got to do is set the truth free. It'll defend itself. But sometimes it needs legs and arms and feet and a mouth. God uses all of us. Tell the truth with a smile. If you can, tell the truth with a smile. Sometimes you got to get a little more serious than that. But as long as you can, tell the truth with a smile. And tell it in all seriousness. I've been doing this as long as I can remember. Bulldog Smith is my name. Being a bulldog, don't allow yourself to be pushed off the cornerstone of creation, the rock that the church is built on. And then I just said, have a bulldogged stubbornness about the truth. Have a bulldogged stubbornness about the truth. His name is Jesus Christ. Those were my thoughts. Now, I can tell you how this goes on Facebook. If I post something on there with some cute little fox puppies running around, ooh, love, like, love, woo, hee, woo, woo. I post something like this that actually matters to people's life, nothing. You get nothing. You don't get a like. You don't get a comment. You don't get a hate. Used to, people would just come on there and hate you. Right? And people would love you. I built a big following. I shut that all off in 2017. My wife passed away at the age of 40 from an aneurysm, just gone one day. Whole world changed. I had spent the year prior, on one hand, trying to get her to set her phone down and let's talk, and then just saying she's just not going to set her phone down. She's just going to sit there and at the same time, you remember what happened in 2016, right? You remember that election? You remember the primaries in the Republican Party? I lost a lot of friends during those primaries. Because I wouldn't bow and swear to anoint their anointed one. Now, I feel a lot different about that fella today. Why? Well, he's done a lot of things since then. Things that have made people that I disagree with very angry. He's done a lot of things that the people on my side that I was disagreeing with in 2016, that they said he would do. And I just didn't believe he'd do it. Why? Well, he'd never done anything like that. Right? He'd never shown any sign of being a Christian. He'd cheated on every wife he ever had. There was a lot of things I didn't know about him too. Good things. When I did learn something good about him, I kind of pushed it aside because there was all this negative stuff that I could point to. He had run for president several times, and I don't think a lot of people really knew that. He had changed his party, had been a Democrat all his life, but then he became a independent and ran for president under that. Became that party, ran, right? Then switched back to maybe to Republican, and then he was all over the place. He was a New York Yankee who Ted Cruz got destroyed for saying he's bringing his New York values with him. Well, look at New York today and tell me that they don't have values that you disagree with. If you're on this side, you may love them. If you're on that side, you may think electing a communist is the best thing that ever happened, despite all the terrible things that are already happening. But back to President Trump. He's done some things I disagreed with. The gun stock ban, that was not constitutional, and the court eventually said that ain't constitutional. He offered to make even more illegal citizens than the Democrats had ever even asked for. And if they really wanted that, they would have took that deal. That tells you something. And looking back, could it have been that he was offering it just to take the mask off and show who they really are? That's a big possibility right there. At the time, I just thought, see, he really agrees with amnesty because he had talked like he did for years. He had been all over the place with, I love Bush, I hate Bush, I hate Ronald Reagan, I love Clinton, I hate Clinton, I love Obama, I hate Obama. He'd been all over the place on a lot of things. And during that campaign, he was never wrong because he took every side of every argument in a lot of cases. However, the proof's in the pudding. And when he got elected, he did a lot of the things that I had always want done. The border was always a big thing in my book. Did he do a lot on that? Yep, he sure did. Did he do enough? No. But he was fighting the whole system as well. So I give him a little break there, right? Was he trying? Yeah, I think he was. So it's a little hard for me to get a little more light on that situation. It's a little hard for me to go all the way. And here's the thing. I try to judge politicians, people in general, but politicians by what they do, not what they say, because they say all kind of wonderful things when they're running for office. What do they do? And what are the consequences of what they do? And y'all notice the pattern every time Democrats get in office, the economy goes to boop. A lot of y'all don't see that. A lot of y'all think I'm out of my mind. I had a friend tell me back in 2016 that's on the left. I would have never imagined that, but I mean, he's not just on the left, he is the left, kind of. I still love him to death because he said, I'm still waiting on that stuff from Ronald Reagan to trickle down to me. And I'm like, in 2016, you're waiting on a benefit of the president that was president from 1980 to 1988.
Yes, you're fired.
What? I just...
There's baby Trump. He's firing Kamala at McDonald's. That's the next video. It's hilarious. My wife can't handle the baby videos. I don't know why. I love them. Now I'm off track. I really try to judge people on their actions, and I have a set of principles, and they align a lot with Winston Churchill. He said, when it comes to party or principle, always go with principle. Always go with party. That would be more like George Bush or somebody. Yeah, I don't love people just because they're on the right. Because for the most part, they're not. They're just, I don't know what they are. They're establishment. They're the wealth class. They're, hey, I'm not against people being wealthy. Make all the money you can make. That's because you create money for other people. But there is a class of people that just think they know better how to live our lives than we do. And they come in all stripes, in every party. So I'm not a party guy. I'm a principle guy. And this spoke to me. Why? Man, guys, we need to be praying. We need to be praying for our president. And I don't care when it was Barack Obama, I prayed for the president. You know what I prayed? That he would do God's will. You know, I prayed for Donald Trump, that he'll do God's will. You know, I prayed for Joe Biden, that he'll do God's will. Because if they do God's will, then things are going to be as they should be. And it turns out that they're doing God's will if they think they are or not. Regardless of what they do and what their intentions are, it always leads where God is leading us. And that's amazing and beautiful and awesome and horrifying. And hell on earth's coming. At some point. So be praying for the people you agree with and the people you disagree with. Be praying for your family that you love and agree with them on everything. And your family and friends that you disagree with, be praying for them too. And everything, if you align your prayers to what God wants, not what you like, then you'll see answered prayers. Because you're always seeing God's hand in it. If something bad happens in your life, you see the good in it. If something good happens in your life, you see the good in it. You see God's hand in all of these things in your life personally and in your bigger world and in your country and in the state and in the world. Because God's running all of this. And the Bible says God turns the hearts of leaders like a river. He just leads it, makes it go where he wants it to go. So when they're doing evil stuff, it's because he allowed it. Because it's taking us somewhere that he wants us to go. That we're going to go. So pray for them. Pray for President Trump that he will not just do what you like, but that he will do what's right by God. He's doing a lot of that. I'm so proud of what he's doing. And I probably lost a bunch of people because I said a few negative things about him, and they won't stick around to hear the rest of the story. But now you know the rest of the story. I love a lot of the things he's doing. And then he does things sometimes that I'm like, what are you doing? What are you saying? Why are you saying that? And sometimes I go, oh, darn. That was pretty smart. So, look, I'm growing and learning like y'all. I might be right. I might be wrong. I might, there's plenty of room for error and learning always. And we should all have that attitude. And I try to have that attitude. But I'm a bulldog, and so sometimes I'm right. I know I'm right because I've done the research, and I typically don't just come at things hard because it popped in my head or some guy on some conservative media said it. I fight that tendency, like all of us have, to just hear it from somebody you trust and just run with it. And that sort of thing where you want to be the first to post it or something, man, you got to resist that. Because tomorrow the story might be different. Sometimes in 30 minutes the story's different. So none of us are privy to all the truth. The truth is very hard to find, and you have to seek after it and dig it up. Lies are free for the taking, and you can have all of them you want. And you don't have to go hunt them. They're just there. So, this one, I just wanted to say, pray for your friends. Pray for your enemies. Jesus said, pray for your enemies. But what good does it do to pray for your friends? Everybody does that. Pray for your enemies, those that persecute you, those that lie about you, those that do terrible things to you. Pray for them. What do you pray for them? If nothing else, pray that God will get a hold of their heart and turn them in the right direction. Because if we need anything, it is that gift of discernment and radar that comes with the Holy Spirit speaking to you. If you're not hearing him, seek after God and pray. Read the Bible. Get in that dang Bible. Get around people that will help you. And if you've been going to a church and they're not teaching you these kind of things, and they're just going along with whichever way the wind blows, find another church. That's not the church. There's a lot of imposters out there. Jesus told us there would be. He said in the last days there will be many who come in my name and deceive. And boy, there's many. So, my wife's going to kill me if I don't go eat. So, I'm going to pray for y'all. I don't even know you. Maybe I do know you. I'm going to pray that if you guys see this, that you get something out of it. That we can begin to have conversations. That we can agree or disagree. That we can come together and communicate. And find first where we are the same. And then find where we differ and see what we can do about that. If you will go at it with not the intention of convincing the other person that you are right, just find out what they believe. That's a long, many conversations right there. So remember, the word of the Lord is sharp as a two-edged sword, or this one-edged blade that is come sharp. Man, Tim at TKL, sharp as these guys. I was doing a video one day and it just slipped out of my hand and sliced me. It sliced me so fast and easy, it didn't bleed for like 20 minutes. I don't know, it didn't hurt, it didn't bleed for a long time. It was just such a sharp cut. Then when it bled, I was a stuck pig. Y'all be blessed. I hope the Lord brings you everything that you need and a little bit of what you want. Maybe it's a pocket knife. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. And I'll see you back next time at Bulldog Smith Farms. This is Danny Link Smith. I love y'all. Bye.